Rejected. Well, today Senate Republicans stood together blocking a Democratic effort to start a debate on financial reform. Ironically, Democratic Senator Ben Nelson, who cast the deciding vote on the Senate health care bill, voted with the Republicans today. And this is just the beginning of the battle. Republican Senator Jim DeMint joins us live. Good evening, sir.
Greta, it's good to be back.
So I take it you don't like this financial regulatory reform bill that was considered today?
Well, all the Republicans won't reform, but I'm afraid this is more regulation than reform. It's another massive bill that doesn't keep the promises on the label. We want to fix what caused this financial mess, but the subprime problem is not addressed. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Federal Reserve, the things that we know contributed are not even a part of this bill.
What's this, if you pick out one thing, what's the single biggest thing in this bill you don't like?
Well, it's the Consumer Financial Protection Agency that doesn't really protect consumers. It expands government control over community banks, credit unions.
And that's the one within the Federal Reserve?
Right. And it's just a new bureaucracy. It's the son of Sarbanes-Oxley, and we know the result of that. It just cost billions of dollars and thousands of jobs, and we need to fix what caused the problem, not just expand regulation.
All right, well, see, the thing that always bothered me about that, I mean, I don't know to what extent we need an organization to do consumer protection, although I will concede there was a meltdown in 2008 and we need to prevent that. But I don't have the sense that when we go to fix problems that anyone looks at the entire existing structure in the government and says, here, we already have the authority in this agency, whether it's the FTC, SEC, or whatever, and see whether or not we could reform from within before we go out and spend a ton of money. And if we don't have the authority, maybe we can expand the authority of some existing part of our government.
Well, the SEC, the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, they're all supposed to be protecting consumers now. They just have not done their job. Neither did Congress with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I mean, this mess was primarily created by bad congressional policy and oversight of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So we need to solve the things that cause the problem. We don't need to just use this as another excuse to expand government regulation. And they actually make permanent this idea of a group of companies that are too big to fail. And the promise was we were going to fix that.
Now, Senator Blanche Lincoln, we spoke to her last week, and she had proposed a way of transparency on the whole derivative market.
Right.
That seemed like a good idea. You have a problem with that?
Well, her and Saxby-Chambliss had worked out a compromise until the president called her and said no bipartisanship. I mean, what
do you mean the president called her and said no bipartisan? Because she was quite proud when she talked to us, because Senator Grassley, a Republican, voted with her to get it out of the Agricultural Committee, and she was quite proud of the transparency.
Well, actually, she and Senator Chambliss had announced a compromise, and that whole thing was axed by the White House, and she put out another bill which went through committee with almost no bipartisan support.
But with Senator Grassley?
Oh, right.
That's the one with Senator, but it came out with Senator Grassley.
I'm on the banking committee, and for months we've been working with the Democrats, and I've never seen a situation where Republicans and Democrats seem to want a bill that really actually did something good. But every time Chris Dodd went over to the White House, he came back and essentially stiff-armed us away from working together, and eventually just threw his own bill out without a lot of the things we had discussed. We know how to get agreement on this, and so does Senator Dodd. But the White House thinks that they can ram another big bill down our throat just by demagoguing to the American people that we're for Wall Street, when he knows all along that Wall Street gives 5-1 to the Democrats when it comes to campaign contributions.
You're both a little guilty on that one. No one's particularly clean on that, and of course there's nothing wrong, I guess, with people giving legal contributions.
Sure.
But all right, but is the transparency? You don't like the? I mean, you have an objection to that last transparency bill that came out of agriculture?
They twisted it around, and I'm going to go back to Senator Saxby-Chambliss and get his take on it, because I think they had a good bill. Obviously, we need more transparency with derivatives, but we don't need to regulate them away, because a lot of companies use derivatives to hedge their risk in the future.
But that's different, regulating away. I mean, it's just like shedding a light on so that people who invest know what they're getting in the underlying, so it's not sort of just some sort of luck of the draw, so you understand what it is you're getting.
But they're reaching down and affecting thousands of companies that do their own financing and their own hedging and regulating them, and they had nothing to do with the problems. End-use companies like a Caterpillar that finances a lot of its own products. They're telling me this is really going to hurt the way they do business globally.
Well, we're going to certainly have a lot of discussion about this one because this one's not going away too soon. Senator, thank you, sir.
So thank you, Greta.